Welcome back, Fish and a Rice Cake.
Yep, another one.
Feels like it's been ages, but it's not. It's actually only been a couple of weeks since we were here, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's not that long.
Yeah,
it's not that
feels
long.
like it's been ages.
Because we were going to do this at the end of the month, weren't we? But we realised we'd run out of episodes before we got there. So.
And we need to keep them
And
going.
you're away next week, aren't you?
I am going on holiday on Saturday for a week.
Where are you going?
Going to Mallorca.
Oh,
nice. So me, my mum, my dad, Thea, obviously, and Louise. So it's her first time abroad, which will be good fun.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of a holiday it's going to be. Like, speaking to people, it's just being a parent in a different country.
Yeah.
Like,
It's not that relaxing.
Yeah.
You'll probably get more sleep than you did when you went away last week, though, I imagine.
Yes.
That looked a little bit livelier.
Yeah, that was a little bit livelier. So I was away with the lads there, just for a long weekend in Portugal. But
Got stuck on the way home, didn't you?
we did. We got just ridiculous flight things. So we were by the pool on the last morning, just chilling out, and our mates are in our lads chat. They're all messaging saying, "Your flight's delayed," and we were like, "Piss off!" Like, you're just winding us up because they all know we've got a hangover. Like, they're just on the wind up.
Yeah.
And we're like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
It really
actually
is.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. My brother was in Paris. I think they just gone like on a mini moon after the wedding midweek, and they got stuck in France for an extra day or so. I think before they could get back.
It was
Just
ridiculous.
it just sounded nuts.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, did he get put up in a hotel?
I don't know if they got put up
Or they
on
had
that.
to
They ended up just
had to
having to
get
stay
their own.
over. Yeah, I don't know. They might have done, but
So yeah, if I had to stay an extra couple of days, I wouldn't have minded it.
it's stressful though. You know, so we got pre lockdowns. Me and Sophie went to Annecy on a holiday, and then on the way back, you have to fly back from Geneva.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to get a coach to Geneva, sorry. And then our flight was at like sometime in the evening. And then we were sat there pretty much close to midnight, still waiting for it. And there was like a big storm outside. And they ended up cancelling the flight at like literally midnight or like 12:30 in the morning. And they were like, "Oh yeah, the flight's been cancelled, this, that and the other." So we were like, "What the fuck do we do now?" Like, we're stuck in the middle of Geneva. Like, so we had to get the train back into Geneva, find somewhere to stay for the night. And it was that summer where there was like all the electrical outages and like everything got shut down. And we ended up getting stuck in Geneva for like 2 or 3 days because every flight we kept booking just kept getting cancelled one after the other. And I think
Did they pay for the hotel or did you have to pay for yourself?
I had to pay for it. So how it worked, they were terrible. How it worked was we basically had to pay for everything up front, and they were like, "Oh, keep the receipts and you can claim it back." But they were like, it took us.
The thing is, they make it such hard work to go through any kind of claim or anything that I think people just give up.
It took us probably about 10 months to get anything back, and we literally kept having to chase them like every month because you just wouldn't hear anything. And then every time you chased them, they were like, "Oh, you just need to send us this now," and then you just need to send us this now.
It's ridiculous.
They just kept doing it, and then we ended up only getting about half of our money back from it.
Well, I did in Istanbul, didn't I, when I was coming home? So when I was coming home from Istanbul, my flight got cancelled, which was actually a blessing in disguise because that was going into London, so I was going to have to stay the night in London anyway before coming back to Manchester. But it got cancelled, and it was with like Wizz Air, who are like, I think they're like, I don't know where they're from, but they're outside the EU, and it's different laws, so you can't get any money back at all.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Cheers.
it was awful. Like, and it sounds nice because it's like, "Oh, we got an extra 2 days holiday in Geneva," but you don't feel like that because you're stuck there. You just stress because you're like, "Well, I need to find somewhere else to stay tonight. We need to try find somewhere else to some way of getting home tomorrow."
And you're spending more money while you're there, food, drinks, all that kind of stuff.
Geneva's not cheap.
Yeah, no,
I would gutted
That's
because
Switzerland, innit?
yeah, we got to the end of the holiday on our way home, and I was like, "Oh, buzzing!" Like I had like 200 quid or something left from the holiday, so I was like, "Oh, that's all right." Literally, I just went on like basic food over the net. Like a Starbucks was like 11 quid for a coffee. It was mad. We ended up having to get like a 6:30, 7 a.m. train from Geneva down to Paris, and then getting one of the last seats on the Eurostar. It literally cost us like $1,000 to get the Eurostar home.
So
It was ridiculous.
Funny you say that. So one of my mates, he was in Italy last weekend when all the issues were happening on that Monday. It was the bank holiday Monday, and his flight got cancelled from Rome to Manchester.
Yeah.
So he then booked a flight from Rome to, I can't remember if it was Geneva, but anyway, Switzerland.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know whereabouts in Switzerland. In Switzerland. And then he was meant to get back from Switzerland to Manchester. I don't really know what happened, but I don't know if he realised at that moment in time that there was no flights going into the UK at all. So he was then basically stuck in Switzerland, and he had to get, similar to you, train from Switzerland to France and then get the Eurostar back to
that's
the
what
UK.
we had to do.
And it cost him, he said, about $1,000 as well.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And then you see it advertised now, it's like Eurostar 50 quid each. And like,
Yeah,
fucking
full of
brilliant.
shit.
Yeah, so it wasn't. Can sympathise with you on that one. 'Cause it's not a lot of fun, is it?
It won that. We were lucky. Like we were lucky to get back.
And so you got back in this.
Yeah,
like,
it was.
late
Yeah, it
the
was like
same day, wasn't it?
but it was. But we were very very lucky. It was still like a long day and stuff, and like airport was just carnage, but it was all right.
Yeah. Anyway, what we doing today? Q&A,
We are,
Q&A, aren't we?
We are
Different.
So I'm getting my phone out only because I've got some questions and stuff.
I think
on
I've
it.
got some. I'll get them up in a bit.
But yeah, we're gonna do a Q&A. So this came about because when I was away, as I said to you, like a couple of lads said, you should do a Q&A. So I was like, okay, that sounds good. They listen to the podcast, so thanks for that one, lads.
Yeah, it saves us having to think of an idea as well to chat about. It's just nice and easy.
Yeah, so we fired up a question box on our Instagrams.
Yeah,
got a couple of questions.
We have, yeah. We've got. So I think we're going to split this into 2 episodes, aren't we? Because we've got questions around fat loss and training, but then we've also got questions around how we actually coach and which coaches have asked us.
Yeah.
So it makes sense just to split them off. So this one's going to be around fat loss,
more
training,
kind of
nutrition,
fat loss, general fat loss, training,
then
that kind of stuff.
The next Q&A episode will be how we actually coach and work with people and set things up and map stuff out and all that kind of thing.
Which is interesting because it shows there's quite a lot of coaches who listen to this podcast.
Yeah. And even if you're not a coach, you might just be interested in hearing like the behind the scenes, how we tend to work it and map stuff out and everything like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Like you don't have to be a coach to listen to that.
No,
it'll be really interesting because again, it's not just about it's not about, I suppose, the intricacies. It's about how we kind of phase things out and how we kind of plan it out and stuff.
Yeah.
But should we get a question up, mate?
Get the first one up.
Right. Let's have a look here. So I've got a few. I've actually not picked which one to go off first, but I'll ask it you and then we can just go into some detail.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. So this is one from one of my new clients, actually. So basically what he's asked is, does an eating schedule affect weight loss? And he's put like time of the day. He did actually message me separately and elaborate on that a little bit. So what he means is, does it matter when it comes to fat loss, what time you eat? Later on in the evening, etc., etc.?
No. No. That's an easy one. No, it makes no difference. I think there's still people that like will swear by fasted cardio and stuff like that. There's nothing to actually support that, like research-wise. Maybe anecdotally, it might work better for you. Like certainly from a routine point of view, fasted cardio can work better. Like if you just prefer to get up and get it done, like there's nothing wrong with doing it. But in terms of actual eating times, I think the only caveat to it is when it comes to fat loss, it makes no difference.
Literally no difference.
When it comes to maximizing sort of muscle retention or building muscle, it makes sense to try and have even splits, or as even as you can, of like protein intake through the day. So splitting out your total grammage as evenly across the day as you can.
Yeah, I mean, I would caveat and say that obviously we know from fat loss perspective, it is literally, you'll be so bored of us saying this and other people saying it, but it's literally calories in versus calories out, right? So you could eat all of your calories at 11 p.m. It doesn't fucking matter. As long as you're in a calorie deficit, you are going to drop body fat, right?
Yeah.
That's the science behind it. We cannot get away from that. That is the way that your body works. But what I would say is that advice, it's like just shouting calorie deficit at someone, isn't it? It's not that helpful.
It doesn't help.
So I think that when it comes to meal timings, I still think there's a little bit more to it when it comes to fat loss. So yes, it doesn't necessarily matter what time you eat, but from an adherence perspective, from an energy perspective, from a recovery perspective, if you're someone who likes to go to the gym as well, like my client goes to the gym 3-4 times a week. I think he's on a 4-day training plan. So you're going to benefit from having, I think, more regular meals. And what I mean by that is your body is a creature of habit, isn't it? So it likes to, you'll probably find that you get hungry at the same time each day and things. Yeah. Because your body gets in sync with your meal times. So when you are dieting, although it doesn't matter about the overall calories, that as long as that's a deficit, that's fine. I personally think eating your breakfast at the same time each day, your lunch at the same time each day, your dinner at the same time each day, you're going to massively benefit from that, give or take. Yeah,
massively. And it sort of helps you keep one step ahead of hunger. So like I said, although it doesn't make a difference to fat loss, what can make a difference, and I was having to say this to one of my clients yesterday, and the feedback was like, I've had a few clients over the past few weeks who are dieting at the minute. I said dieting, didn't I? Didn't say dieting, I said dieting. Yeah. I'm going to say that just sounded like it went very morbid.
Same thing.
It feels like it. No, and they've sort of fallen into that trap over the last couple of weeks because I think a couple of them are teachers, so they've been busy back at school, which is fair enough. But they've been like, I wasn't really hungry through the day, so I just didn't eat. And then what they've done is then they've got to the end of the day, and they've just suddenly out of nowhere, it's hit them and they've been like, I was absolutely starving, and then I went home, then I had to wait for my food to cook, so then I started snacking whilst my food was cooking, and although they did okay, like they kept within the targets, it was fine, it can very easily go the other way. And it's like, that's why we sort of say, even if you're not hungry, get a meal in at a set time. Not like a set time, you don't have to stare at the clock and be like, oh, it's 2 o'clock, I have to eat now. But just at sort of regular intervals.
Like I'll eat lunch between 12 and 2.
Just when you get a chance.
Yeah.
Just so you're keeping ahead of that, because then you're not going to be suddenly hit with a wave of hunger where you suddenly just want to eat absolutely everything in sight. So it just helps prevent that and keep one step ahead of it.
Yeah, 100%. And I think also alongside that, getting regular protein servings in, if you wanted to go right into it, regular protein servings are going to help with muscle retention, maintaining muscle.
Because if you're not familiar with it, your body's in a constant state of basically building muscle and breaking muscle down into it. And if you're not taking protein in to help it build that muscle, it can sort of skew towards it's breaking more muscle down than it's building at certain times of the day if you've not got enough protein going in. So it just helps to keep topping that up, to keep it in that sort of net positive direction. The other thing as well is like, so for example, like I was just saying to you before we started recording, like yesterday I was super busy through the day, didn't eat much through the day just because I was massively busy. I should have done, but I didn't. So I ended up having most of my food through the end of the day. Now that's fine, it doesn't make a difference. But what you can then find is if you bulk the majority of your food to the end of the day, is your weight the next morning is probably going to be a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Just because you've got more food in your stomach, you've loaded most of your carbs at the end of the previous day, so you can have more still left in your system. So if you do that, and then the scale the next morning has gone up, don't freak out thinking that you've put body fat on overnight because you've had all your food at the end of the day. It's not. It's just because you've eaten later than usual.
Yeah.
You've still got more food.
You've still got a load of food in your digestive system, etc. That's all it is. I think he was asking that actually. I think that was one of the questions that he was asking. But yeah, so essentially, meal timing doesn't matter, and it does as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully we made some sense into why.
It doesn't matter for improving or reducing fat loss, but it does matter for actually helping you be a bit more adherent, keeping on top of building muscle or maintaining it, and just general routines. Like we say to people, especially when they're doing photo shoots, like you want to be as routine as you can possibly be, so you're not having to decide every day, when am I eating today, when's my next meal coming in, what am I having. Like it just wants to be mapped out so you can just run through it every day without
and that's something we talk about all the time, is being prepped and planning ahead. And again, when we say prep, we don't mean kind of fucking chicken and broccoli from a Tupperware necessarily. I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine, but have an idea of what you're going to be eating at what time or not what time for each meal. So you wake up in the morning, for your breakfast you're going to be having oats, porridge, whatever it might be. Your lunch is going to be a chicken salad, whatever. But as long as you know what you're eating and you've got that food available, then you're not going to have those days where you put all your food back to 10 p.m. It's all very unlikely. And the chances of you making bad decisions, they minimize massively. So, but yeah, that kind of covers that. So Toby, thank you for the message, mate.
Do you want me to get one up?
Go on, you get one up. Depends what you're getting up.
Okay, so I'll just read it. It's quite a longer one, so I'll just read out the full one. Is it true the more muscle you have, the more calories you can eat? By that I mean the whole point of doing a muscle building phase is to build more muscle, which means your maintenance calories will be higher than when you had less muscle. Does that make sense? I follow the Olympic bodybuilding champion Chris Bumstead on Insta, and it's mad how many calories he eats even when he's cutting. C-Bum. Everyone loves him. Does look good, to be fair.
He does look good.
Yeah, I mean, you can't compare yourself to him to begin with. He's a freak. He's a freak. Like, he's going to eat a lot of food. But that so generally, I think the reason to do a muscle building phase isn't just so you can eat more food. It's obviously for a physical outcome. You want to look like you've got more muscle. You might want to get stronger, this, that, and the other. Although you could argue strength training and hypertrophy training are different things. So it is. There is a lot in that. I think if you have a long gaining phase where you do build a good amount of lean muscle tissue, your BMR is going to be higher because
it's not that much higher though, is it?
It's not. No, it is. Muscle is an active tissue, so it respires, so it will increase your BMR, which means you can theoretically eat a little bit more food to maintain, and diet on more food as well. Over time. It's not going to be life-changing.
It's not life-changing amounts. It's a couple of 100 calories potentially. I think some people think they're going to gain some muscle and be like, oh, sweet, I can eat 1,000 extra calories a day and maintain. It's probably not going to be like that. It's going to be a lot less than what you think. But the theory is right. Like, the more muscle you've got, the larger your BMR, which is your base metabolic rate, and basically the amount of calories you burn just doing nothing each day is going to increase, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, in theory, 100% you can eat a little bit more food. It's just it's not going to be maybe as much as what you thought.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to dieting on more food as well, I think that comes down to how lean you want to get. Because I think to a degree, if you wanted to get like ridiculously lean, you're always going to have to go pretty much back down to what you know to be your bottom end of calories, even if you've built more muscle. So it just depends on that. The biggest factor is just the genetic component. Like we were just saying before, like I am at the minute eating just over 2,000 calories a day, and I'm not far off being as lean as I'd want to be.
Yeah.
I've had clients that are 20, 30 kilos heavier than me. Some of them like 40 kilos who have had to eat less food than me to get lean in a day. I've had some clients that are lighter than me that can eat more food. Like there's a massive genetic
Well, me and you,
component to
for
do with
example,
that.
you're currently about 68-ish, if I'm right.
Yeah, pretty much 68.
Yeah, I'm currently about 85.
Yeah.
And I'm on slightly, it's only ever so slight to be fair, but I'm slightly less calories than you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and again, that's not, it's not because, it's just because I'm, our genetics are slightly different. We all have a genetic ceiling with this stuff. So,
yeah.
you kind of have, what's the word when you dealt the,
It's the card you dealt.
it's the card you dealt.
Yeah, it is just that, and you've just got to see where your sort of thresholds are at, really. And like over time, if you repeat the process of a solid gaining phase and then a dieting phase and solid gaining phase, you can sort of increase that.
Increase over time.
Yeah, so like obviously for my previous gaining phase, I was up to like 5,000 calories a day, and then that gives you a nice start point for a diet. Because then I started on like 3,500, but at some point you still have to go down to that bottom end.
Yeah.
It just depends how lean you want to get.
And it also depends on what you're doing. So, for example, I've mentioned Nathan a few times. So Nathan, who did our photo shoot, got incredibly lean. And he was on like 3,000 calories a day right up to the shoot, which some people just couldn't believe. But he's a football coach. He does like 20 plus thousand steps a day. He's extremely active. Like he's just... And his genetics probably kind of work in his favour a little bit as well. Yeah. But all of that coupled together meant that he could be on that number of calories and still drop body fat.
Yeah.
And actually his body needed it, otherwise he would have been fucked.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously we got genetic side of things, which plays a part into it, and also your lifestyle, Yeah. Because if you're stuck to a desk all day and you're glued to your desk and your movement levels are very low, then naturally you're going to have to eat a little bit less because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, so it is one of those. You can slightly adapt it over time, but you'd have to build like significant amount of muscle to see any real difference with that.
C-bum style.
Yeah, so it's not really a reason to try and do a gaining phase if it's just so I can eat more food at maintenance.
No.
You could do that tomorrow by just moving a bit more during your maintenance and thus like...
Yeah, if you want to eat more food,
just move a bit more.
Just move more. Like that is literally the easiest way. And then, as Jake says, if you are going to go through a muscle building phase, do it for the right reasons, to build muscle rather than eat more food.
Yeah.
But you can, if you go into a gaining phase, then of course you can eat more food, which is fun.
Yeah. It is to a point, and then you get to you get to a certain amount of food, and it just becomes a chore.
Well, you did, you did. To be fair, I've not done a proper gaining phase for a long time, only because I know it sounds daft, but the last one I did was kind of natural. If that makes sense. So what I mean by that is, we had Thea after my last photo shoot last summer. Like she was a couple, maybe a month or so later. So I knew naturally. Just that I was going to eat more food. It was just going to be, my patterns were all going to be off, etc. So for me, I was still kind of like monitoring my weight and things. I wasn't tracking my calories. I naturally eat very high protein diet. Anyway, I'm probably over 200 grams of protein, even when I'm not tracking my calories. So I knew that I was going to be give or take kind of in a slight surplus.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think I did that for 6-7 months, and I gained about, I think from the photo shoot, maybe about 7 or 8 kilograms. So it's probably a little bit more than what I'd want. So maybe gained a little bit more body fat than what I'd want. But actually...
Still not too bad for the amount of time.
Yeah, without it being kind of like a really regimented gaining phase, it probably worked out quite well.
Yeah.
And I do feel a bit bigger. So like I'm down at 85 now, dieting for this photo shoot. And I looked at my pictures from the previous time when I was this weight, and I look a bit bigger, my chest looks a bit bigger and things. So I'm like, okay, so I might have gained a little bit of muscle. It's good. Right, let's have a look. So this one was a good one. Why do so many people recommend HIIT, but you guys don't?
I think a lot of people recommend it. Just it's an easy sell.
Yes.
Like it's a sexy sell in it. It's an exciting sell. Like
That's literally what I said.
It looks the part.
Yeah.
If you see someone like busting their ass off during a session, like, well, it must be doing something because look how hard they're working, and it does do something. Like, I'm not saying it doesn't do anything. I think it's the harder route to go down if you're using it to try and get lean. If you're doing it to try and improve your fitness, then yeah, it's not a bad shout.
And just to be really clear as well, so this is one of my clients who asked me this question. I did reply saying it's a really good question, but I did say it's not that we don't recommend it, because
I have some clients that do HIIT classes every week.
Exactly.
They just love them.
Exactly.
Weirdos, but they love them.
Yeah, no, it's not that we don't recommend it, because HIIT does 100% have its place. Our problem with HIIT is exactly what you've just said there. It's glorified. So you can go onto Instagram, if you see someone who's in fantastic shape, jumping around their living room doing burpees, mountain climbers, all this kind of stuff, 20 minutes, you're going to burn fat. Usually they'll put something like that on it. It sounds sexy. It looks sexy. The reality is they haven't done that to get into that condition. That's the thing. So is it, like you say, it's an easy sell. It's attention grabbing. It's gonna it's gonna catch your attention because it generally is people in great shape doing it. But if you're someone who is, I mean, this client isn't, so I'm certainly not saying this, but if you're someone who has a lot of weight to lose, and someone prescribes you, because I've just had a guy who inquired, he's over 100 kilograms about coaching, and he had a coach who basically told him to do like 100 burpees a day. And I was like, I just couldn't do it. He was like, it was killing. And I was like, yeah, but it's gonna knacker your joints
massively,
batter your knees. It's really, really high impact. It requires a lot of motivation, HIIT training, generally speaking, as well. And just to go back to like the number of calories that you burn doing exercise is fuck all.
Yeah.
Like, it's nothing. So,
and there's that argument in there with HIIT where people say, oh, you continue to burn fat after you've been doing it. You don't. There's literally nothing to back that up at all.
Yeah. So again, it's not. So I think we just have to really clearly say it's not that we don't recommend HIIT. We just don't think, for the majority of our clients, it's the best method of training for them, especially, again, when you're in a fat loss phase, because it takes a lot of recovery, it does take a lot of motivation.
Yeah.
Whereas actually what we would say is just go and do a long walk. You're going to get more out of a long walk, potentially. It's going to require way less motivation. Your knees aren't going to be battered at the end of it. And yeah.
It's literally that. It's, if you're dieting and you're trying to get lean, and you feel like you need to do HIIT, you'll probably find that after each session, like you said, you're feeling more knackered between workouts. You're not going to recover from your trim training as quickly. It's going to make you hungrier. Your cravings are going to go up. So sticking to your targets, and if you've got a diet plan, it's going to be a lot harder. You're going to have to, like I would anyway, I'd have to psych myself up to actually go and do it. Like if I thought I had to go to the gym later on to do like a 10-20 minute HIIT session, like I would be dreading that all day. Whereas if I'm like, oh, I've got to go do 30-40 minutes just on a bike or a Stairmaster at a steady pace, I don't love it, but it's easier.
It's manageable.
It's manageable, and I can do other things whilst I'm doing it as well.
Exactly.
So yeah, there is. It's not that we don't like it. It's just not the magic sort of pill that it's sold to be.
That's exactly it. So if you enjoy HIIT, like, do HIIT. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. And if you require no motivation to go and do a HIIT workout, and you feel like it serves you well, like physically and mentally, like, knock yourself out.
Yeah.
But it's just not the kind of magic solution. Like.
Yeah, and it's one that, like, just to finish on that, like, if I have clients, which I have had loads in the past and I do currently, who just love doing it, and they'll do like 2 classes a week or whatever, and they're dieting, I sort of say to them, like, look, we'll class that as your cardio for now. We're not going to stop you from doing that. But if at some point you start to notice that you are more tired day to day, you're sorer from your training, you're not recovering as quick, I was like, it is the first thing that we're going to pull out. And 9 times out of 10, we pull it out when that time comes, and within a week they're like, I feel so much better.
Yeah.
Like, I'm recovering more, I've got more energy, I'm not as hungry. It's like, cool.
Yeah.
We're not going to put it back in until we finish this then.
I've got a coach as one of my clients at the moment, and she teaches a lot of classes and things. She's a face-to-face PT, and she does a lot of classes. And I've had to kind of cap just because, like, the number of calories she was burning because she was getting involved in the classes and things.
Yeah, I've had that as well.
She's messaged me a few times since, being like, oh my God, I feel 100 times better because her recovery's better. She isn't battered after each of these sessions for days afterwards, and especially at the moment, we are in a fat loss phase. And it's serving her much better. Her weight's coming down, her composition's changing. So again, I think some people think because these people generally are doing these HIIT workouts are in great shape, they think that maybe that's how they got to that place. Just to be clear, though, that you're not going to build muscle through doing HIIT, or it's very, very, very unlikely you're going to build muscle through doing HIIT training.
Yeah.
You know, the people who have got into that condition, they either weight train alongside it, or they did that for a long time prior to doing the HIIT workout.
Yeah, 100%. HIIT doesn't do anything for actually building muscle or anything.
Yeah.
So I think that covers that one, doesn't it?
Covers that one.
I've got one. How do we stay motivated even on lazy days? Well, I don't think we have lazy days, because a lazy day for me would be a Sunday, but even on a Sunday, I'm doing my cardio in the morning and getting about 14,000 steps in that I have to do each day. That's like a lazy day. I think if you give yourself lazy days, you can have them. Obviously, I'm not saying you can't have them, but I think it's almost a mindset towards it. Like saying that you're giving yourself a lazy day or you're having a lazy day. It's like, well, you're only going to have to make that up somewhere else in the week. So you're just sort of making your week harder somewhere else almost. I'd prefer have like an even split. How would you stay motivated? What would you say?
Well, I similar to you, like I don't really have lazy days, and that's just by nature. Like I'm not.
It's just a routine.
I'm just not that person. Like I struggle to sit down and watch TV. I just have to be doing something. I'm a complete weirdo like that. So even on a day where, you know, if I've got nothing going on, if I haven't got any work to do, if I haven't got any client sessions, if I haven't got any programming, if I haven't got anything to do at all, I'll still go and walk the dog and do like a big walk with the dog.
Yeah.
So there's not really a lazy day for me. I think maybe if we kind of rephrase the question slightly, which is maybe what they mean as well, is how do you stay motivated when you're not motivated on those? On certain
when
days?
You're feeling knackered.
When you're feeling knackered and you're tired and stuff. Obviously, it's hard. Like I think we've done an episode on motivation. Like we're rarely constantly motivated. There's some days I get up and I think the last thing I want to do is go to the gym and do my cardio or go and do my steps or eat my healthy nutrition when I could get a fucking Five Guys. Like I'd much prefer to do that stuff, but it is just thinking about the long-term goals. And I actually put a post up about it this morning. You know, the people who get the best results do the shit that they don't want to do on the days they don't want to do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is that's when it counts the most. And I think you'd have to be an incredibly intrinsically driven person to be able to do everything that you need to do without having an actual like accountable goal to do it towards.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So if you're just doing it because you just want to lose a bit of weight, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with it. But that's probably not gonna be a strong enough goal for you to do what you need to do on those days where you can't be asked to do it. Whereas having something to keep you accountable, whether it's a coach, whether it's a photo shoot, whether it's just something with your friends, like you make an accountability group or something, that gives you most of the sort of drive or motivation that you would need to stay accountable and just get it done. But it comes just down to routine and discipline, like just getting up and doing it anyway. And
that discipline, it starts off as discipline, then actually just turns into
just
habit.
Yeah.
It's just habit. And like I say, sometimes in fact, most of the time at the moment, I'd say I wake up and I can't be asked going to the gym, but it doesn't ever even cross my mind not to go.
Yeah.
You just
have to go.
I'm always like an autopilot. I just get up, I just get in the car and I just drive to the gym and I just do my workout.
And I think maybe this is coming from an angle of having that expectation of it always has to be the best workout as well. It always has to be like the best workout you do. And it doesn't. Like yesterday, I could not be asked to go into the gym. It was a really busy day. It's obviously boiling at the minute, and I don't do well in heat at the best of times. I couldn't be asked to go into the gym, and I went, and the session wasn't great at all. Like it was terrible. But you've just got to sort of do it and just go through it. Like it wasn't the best session I ever had. Accept that it's not great. Accept that you're not going to feel amazing, but just get it done. Do something, and then crack on.
And then the next time you go and do that same workout, you might be like super into it, and it might be a great fucking session. But I had a client kind of ask me the other day, like, a few of my sessions I did them, but I just wasn't really like I didn't feel great. I was like, that's great. That's amazing, because you've gone and done your sessions. Like you could have not done the sessions. You've done the sessions. Not every session's going to feel amazing. Not every day is going to feel amazing. Some days you're going to be super motivated. Some days you're going to just not be.
Yeah, and I think maybe a good way, something that I like to, or a good way I think it's a good way that I look at it, is when I'm doing my steps on my cardio through the week, if I'm feeling okay and I've got the time, I'll do more than I need to do, just so that then I've almost got it in the back of my mind that like, I've banked something ahead. So if I do feel a bit shit later on in the week, if I'm quite tired later on in the week,
you're ahead of the
I'm
game.
ahead so I can chill out a little bit.
Yeah.
And just having that and sort of trying to stay one step ahead instead of just doing the bare minimum and then getting a day where you feel like shit and not wanting to do anything and then you're behind. If you can do a little bit more on the days where you've got the time or you're feeling all right, if you do then feel like shit, you're like, okay, well, I can take it a bit easier today. I can have a bit of a lazier day and it's not going to affect things.
Yeah, and something I'll just finish off by saying there as well, especially for like a lot of my clients with kids and things, and you know, it is hard, you know, motivation isn't always there. Planning the fun things as well. So obviously planning your gym workouts, planning your steps, planning your nutrition ahead of time, 100%. But all that stuff is fairly kind of boring, right? Let's be honest about it. So planning something fun as well, like, for me, like a big thing at the moment is like I have 1 or 2 things per week that I look forward to, whether it's just going out with Thea, whatever it is, it can be something really simple. And I think that also makes those unmotivated days a little bit easier because, you know, maybe later in the week, I'm going to the cinema on Saturday night, you know, and it's like he's having that something
to push towards.
Something to push towards and something to be like, oh, well, I'm not going to feel like this tomorrow because I've got a nice day tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, and it gets you through those days a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that covers that.
Covers it.
Bottom line, just get it done anyway.
Being a little bitch and do it.
I don't think I've got any more. I think that's it for me.
Let's have a look. I've got one of my mates who asked me a question, which I said I'd answer it, but he basically asked me, are you able to still do the trick? Now, I can't even say what the trick is. I honestly can't say it, but Ash, I've not tried it for about 10 years, but next time we're together, I'll give it a go. I can't go.
Right, well, you're going to have to film that because now
you could not film it. And then someone actually asked me, if you could only eat one for the rest of your life, what are you choosing, fish or a rice cake?
Oh, well, I'm not a big fan of fish, so
rice cake.
Yeah,
it's rice cake. It's a rice cake for me as well. I couldn't imagine eating fish all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas rice cakes, I can hammer a packet, no problem.
Yeah.
So that's kind of it.
First Q&A wrapped up.
That's Q&A wrapped up. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
That was good.
It was good. We'll do another one maybe in the next batch that we do next month or the month after. We'll just keep putting them out and sort of get a list of questions built up.
Yeah, so if anyone, in the meantime, we will put up like a question box on Instagram and stuff. Yeah. But actually, if you've got a question, just message one of us and ask the question, say, can you answer this on the next podcast? We'll probably give you an answer there.
Yeah, we'll give you, like I did that with the ones I got sent. I gave them an answer there because I was like, it's probably going to be a month until this one goes out.
Yes.
So you don't have to wait a month. But if you send us it, we'll put it into the next one.
We'll answer then, and then we'll answer it live so other people can get our wisdom and knowledge.
Or what little there is. Cool.
All right, nice one, guys.
See you in the next one.